Welcome back on a beautiful Wednesday night, the Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, G Malzig, and to my left, I got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, college Cutro.
Gentlemen, no, it's just you. Just kidding.
It's just me. Don't sound so disappointed. Fired up, bro. Fired up.
I see that. I see that. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I know you're about to let everybody know what's going on with our third here, but we got a lot to go over today. You know, for a summer show, this is one that's gonna be pretty packed.
I gotta let everybody know some bad news. Earlier today, we kicked Shally off the podcast. He is no longer with Wire2Wire. And we'll talk to you guys about that later. It'll be another week. But I'm kidding. Shally will be here shortly. He got stuck in traffic. The Iron Man, who claims he's an Iron Man, but sometimes can't show up on time to the goddamn show. There's no Iron Man to me. I'm kidding. I hope you get home safe, Shally. I love you. He'll be on shortly. But the show must go on. We start at 7 o'clock, not 7:02, not 7:01. We are here. It's 7 o'clock. I'm ready to rock and roll. We got Hot Wire starting off. We got some information, some news that happened soon. Let's get into that. Let's start with Hot Wire. I just shared it out to everybody. Do me a favor. If you're in the chat, tag followers, share us out, be awesome, and do good stuff.
That's how you know Gene's fired up. He just starts saying words and whatever comes out. But I mean, I feel like with Hot Wire, we have to talk about it's a day old at this point, but it's still fresh to us. Tom Thibodeau got fired from the New York Knicks after taking them to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, I feel like I have like strong opinion about it, but I don't know if you've. I know you're on the morning show. I don't know if you shared your opinion on it this morning or not. I hopped in late, but I definitely have a really strong opinion about this.
So I would love to hear your strong opinion of it because I gave my opinion this morning, and I don't want to influence you. I know how you follow me a lot, and like when I say stuff, you're like, oh, that's a great opinion. So I don't want you to have to do that. I personally have shared my opinion already, and I will share it with you guys again shortly. And I obviously know that there's just different listeners today than there was this morning. So, but I would love to hear your opinion first. So I hope I can argue with you. I hope that you're wrong.
So for me, I mean, I think this is a move that I didn't see coming, but in reality, if you're a New York Knicks fan, you should be over the moon about this decision as long as they get the next coaching hire correct. I truly felt like Tibbs got completely outcoached in that series, and it wasn't just the X's and O's thing. It almost felt like he didn't know what he was doing out there. Like it almost felt like he was just a random guy, like playing 2K, and you have this roster and you just throw guys out there and you see what happens. Throughout the entire series, I don't know if I saw the Knicks run successfully one set of offense. It was give the ball to Jalen Brunson and have him do everything he needs to do up until he goes to the bench, or it was give it to Cat, let him ISO, just put his head down and go to the rim and just bowl through people and, put up some craziness and hope he gets to the free throw line and things like that. So I think with this New York Knicks team, like, you can talk about their expectations, before the year. You can talk about the expectations after they beat the Celtics. But for me, ultimately, coming into the year, I told you guys back in October that I thought this Knicks team, the roster as it was constructed, was good enough to win a championship this year. And Gene, you told me I was crazy. Cat was too soft and things like that. And obviously that came to be fruition there. But I thought this roster was good enough to do what we essentially saw them do against that Celtics team and beat them. But then you go up against this Indiana Pacers team who has inferior talent, and you blow the big lead in game one. And I get it. The Pacers have done that every single series so far throughout these playoffs. But again, it looks like those guys weren't prepared in that situation. And then two, when you get into these later games, like obviously the Knicks realized they had to go more into their bench, but just situationally, there were so many things throughout that series. Landry Shamet playing in the fourth quarter of certain games when things are tight. You also had, the Knicks went on a 9-0 run in game 6. And what did Tom Thibodeau do? he subbed out some of those players, and the Pacers ensued with like an 8-0 run and got the lead back up to 16 in that game. And you really never saw the Knicks go on another run in that one. So, I mean, it's just like little things like that. Like, it feels like he has a bad feel for the game. And I get it. He gets the most out of the players and just playing them and letting them run and things like that. But if you want to win, like, at a certain point, especially how the NBA is like going back to now, you can't just win every single series with talent. You need coaching. You need to make adjustments. And the New York Knicks were not in a position to do that with Tom Thibodeau at the helm.
Here's the truth, right? We look at that series and we say, who is the biggest mismatch in the series? Siakam over OG? Was it that? Was the biggest mismatch Halliburton over Brunson? No. The biggest mismatch in that series was Rick Carlisle over Tom Thibodeau. Call it like it is. Rick Carlisle put on a masterclass on how to outcoach somebody to go to the NBA Finals. Rick Carlisle's done this before. He put on a masterclass in 2010, 2011 when he put together the defense that stopped LeBron James down the stretch. Rick Carlisle's a good coach, and it takes a good coach to expose a fraud. Tom Thibodeau can get his players to play hard. He is great at taking a bad franchise and turning them around and making them relevant again. He will not give you over the hump. Tom Thibodeau equals Mark Jackson. Just put the equal sign next to it. Tom Thibodeau, put the equal sign, and then put Mark Jackson. It's the same thing. The Knicks, if they go out and get Michael Malone, they're in the NBA Finals next year. I truly believe that. With Tatum being down, with the East being down, if the Knicks go out there and get Michael Malone, they're in the NBA Finals next year. Tom Thibodeau made so many mistakes in that series, and I love that you made the small gaffe on the words when you said Korkmaz instead of Shamet. We're talking about old 76ers that shot the three ball that shouldn't be playing in the NBA. I'm kidding. But Shamet actually shot well in this series. The point being is this. Yeah, that's right. The Knicks need to find their Steve Kerr. Could that be Michael Malone? I think it could be. Now, there's a couple Cavs assistants that are getting plucked out of the sky. One just got named today, right? The Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
The other one could be the Knicks' next head coach. What's your thoughts on that, Kittrell?
I mean, obviously it would suck. I mean, Kenny Atkinson put the staff together, and we saw the success that the Cavs had this past year. So, I mean, you know, clearly they're doing something right there in Cleveland. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, that's kind of the thing that you ultimately have to have happen when you have a good team. Like, obviously, you know, we talk about it in all different sports, like the Eagles, you know, have had their coordinators plucked in years past. Like, obviously Kellen Moore just got plucked this past year. You know, we've seen Gannon in the past and Steichen, and, you know, all those guys ultimately get plucked. So that's just going to be one of those things that have to happen when you're a good team. So you have to figure it out. There's plenty of guys out there that are looking for their next opportunity. There's so many great basketball minds. So obviously happy for whatever coaches get an opportunity to coach the next level. Don't know why you'd want to go to Phoenix necessarily, but yeah, I get it. It's an NBA head coaching job. There's only 30 of them out there, and they don't just, you know, grow on trees or always open up there. So once the opportunity happens, you kind of have to take it if it presents itself there. But I mean, that's one that if you don't do well, you know, they've made no bones about it. They will fire you after a season or two. So you wish them luck, but that's going to be a tough uphill climb.
Look, I'll say this. Mo says before the series, did anybody know Shamet was still in the league? I'll say the same thing about Thomas Bryant. I didn't know Thomas Bryant was still playing basketball, and he's dropping 12 points in the series clinching game. 3 balls from the corner. Thomas Bryant. The Pacers outcoached the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau was the issue. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be that guy, but this is great if you're a Knicks fan. I said
to that point, though, you got Thomas Bryant, as great as he played, when that game was coming down the stretch, as great as he was he in the game at that point? No. You had Miles Turner in there. You had Siakam in there. Like, Thomas Bryant was playing out of his mind. You know, he hit the three balls, and, you know, he had the and one. But when the game was ultimately came down to it, Carlisle said, I'm putting my best guys out there. I'm not just throwing, guys out here seeing what works. Like Mikal Bridges, I get it. He didn't have the greatest series by any means, especially he didn't have a great game in game 6 either. But that is ultimately what got you there. Like Mikal Bridges is one of those guys that, and we saw it throughout all of the last series and, against the Celtics. Fourth quarter happens, he comes alive, and it's even if it's just great defense and he's not doing anything offensively, he's a person that can change the course of a basketball game. And you have him on the bench for 6 minutes at a time and your season's on the line. It just makes absolutely no sense.
I agree. I'll take it a step further. If you just looked at stats in game 6, you would have believed that Karl Anthony Towns had a decent game. If you watched the basketball game, you knew he was an absolute liability.
Both sides.
Karl Anthony Towns was awful in that game. I don't care what the stats tell you. This is why you have to watch the game of basketball to be able to comment on it. I heard someone say Cat was the only guy that showed up. I'm like, what game are you watching? You must have just looked at the stat sheet. That's all you did, because Karl Anthony Towns was atrocious. Now, did you hear? Listen, I love me some No Chill Gil. Did you hear Gilbert Arenas talking about Karl Anthony Towns?
I did, yeah.
It is the funniest. I don't want to mention the whole thing on here because it's kind of like, it's
unhinged,
it's a little disrespectful.
Yeah,
but it's accurate, man. It's accurate. He was caught in the wrong pick and roll, in the wrong spot, everything, everywhere. I don't know.
But the thing is, though, is that I don't necessarily think that the Knicks have to move on from Cat to have success. Like, I get it. He had an awful game 6, but like the way the first, I don't want to say the first 5 games went, but just in general, how Cat was playing, like I saw him getting downhill against Miles Turner. Like he was dominating the one-on-one matchups against Miles Turner and Siakam when they were happening from time to time. In game 6 specifically, he was just putting his head down and just throwing stuff up at the rim. And obviously in the pick and roll situations, he was really finding himself in no man's land every time. He didn't switch. He was always in drop, but he didn't even hedge enough to, like, if you want to be in drop there, you have to hedge enough for your guard to get through the screen and kind of get back over top there. But he wasn't even doing that, though. So it definitely felt like he was lost and didn't understand the game plan there. But I think just as a whole, like seeing the Knicks while they're at their best, like I look at game 1 before the Nesmith barrage happened, and I feel like that's like the Knicks at their best. And while they were playing like that, like that's a team that's going to be tough to beat. And I think if you get a good coach, that could be the difference in, just making it to the Eastern Conference Finals to winning a championship.
In hindsight, though, you look at the adjustments that were made in game 1 by the Indiana Pacers, and then they come out in game 2 and they basically win the game wall to wall. It wasn't it was close, but yeah, they were the dominating team in game 2. Game 3, they drop at home. But game 4, they come out and they handle business. That was a wall to wall victory. I mean, I know it got close at times, but it was a wall-to-wall victory. Game 5, New York finally gets one at home. And then game 6, it never felt like I'll put it this way, right? There was a bad call in the corner. Deuce McBride did not step out of bounds. That would have brought the game down to 5. And Knicks fans are like holding on to that. Well, if we got it down to 5, things might have been different. Like, no, it wouldn't have been. Like, the Knicks got every call in that game outside of that call on the sideline. If you watch that game, it was so obvious the NBA wanted this game to go 7. It was every single call. I'm watching it with a bunch of Knicks fans. I'm at Adrian's house, watching it with a bunch of Knicks fans, and they're like, "Oh wow, I don't know how I got that call. I don't know how we got that call." Look, it's a good move for the Knicks. I have a feeling that if Michael Malone gets in town, Karl Anthony Towns won't be here, though. Just my opinion.
I mean, that's the other thing, though, is that you have guys. I mean, a lot of those guys, obviously, talk about me and Nova kids. They come from the Jay Wright coaching philosophy there, and Jay was coaching those guys hard and made them play hard and things like that. And Mike Malone is ultimately, I think that's what led to his demise in Denver, is that he was coaching guys hard and he was talking to them like, coaches talk to players when they're not performing well, and he ultimately was doing what he wanted to do. Like, obviously he had the riff with the GM there about playing time for Russell Westbrook and things like that, but he was backing everything that he stood for. And I think, just given how Leon Rose kind of speaks about things and ultimately how the players, like though that core group of players are there between Josh Hart, Brunson, and Mikal, like all those guys there. I think they'll take a liking to Mike Malone's coaching style. Like I don't think it would be a problem. But as far as Cat goes, I do think that could potentially get a little dicey down the line there. But I mean, time will tell.
Did you see the odds for the Knicks' next head coach?
I have not. No.
I want to pull them up for you real quick. Odds for the Knicks. I looked at this earlier and I went over it with Jesus Christ, with Mo. But the odds for the next head coach is listed, and obviously you got Michael Malone at top of that list, right? Johnny Bryant, the assistant from the Cavs, is second. 3rd through 5 is where I find some amusement, right? Number 3, and it's a nice thought process. Number 3 is Jay Wright. Jay Wright's not taking that job.
No.
Number 4 is Mike Budenholzer.
I don't think that's a fit, but.
And number 5 is Rick Brunson.
And that would just be a terrible decision.
Then they go Monty Williams, Taylor Jenkins, John Calipari, and Dan Hurley.
I think all those are just people that Taylor Jenkins, I think, is one that could potentially make sense. But you say Calipari, I wouldn't get that. Dan Hurley, I don't see Dan leaving to go anywhere. And the way Monty coached when he was in Detroit and seeing how JB got those guys in the gear, it makes you wonder, has the NBA passed him up at this point? Obviously, Monty used to be a really good coach, but it almost feels like now that maybe the game's past him. So I don't know if that'd be a good move either.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to topic 2 of Hot Wire.
All right, so next one that I wanted to go over with you being an Eagles fan, I'm sure you probably can't wait to go get this game, but Saquon Barkley is going to be on the cover of Madden 26. 1, are you excited about the cover? 2, do you believe in the curses?
No, I'm not excited about the cover. And yes, I believe in the curses. As a guy that's played Madden for years, the Madden curse is a very real thing. It's something that happens all the time, especially to running backs. Sean Alexander had 27 touchdowns. 27 touchdowns, right? After he got the Madden cover, the rest of his career, he had 11.
Done. Yep.
So somebody to be very qualified to talk about this topic has just joined us. And on the Hot Wire line, the Iron Man himself, Scholastic Shally.
Gentlemen, how are we?
What's up, brother? How's traffic?
Play, man.
Not good. Not good.
Did you hear the beginning of the show?
What?
Did you hear the beginning of the show?
Bits and pieces of it.
We convinced the fans that we let you go.
Oh, all right.
I'm kidding.
Doesn't seem like anybody in the comments is broken up about it, so I don't know how to take that.
We're talking about Tibbs and talking about Tibbs getting fired. If you want to get a point in about that.
I mean, I think I'm a little bit surprised, with the timing of it. Some of the rumors coming out are saying that Dolan made the decision strictly by himself and everybody else is kind of against it. I'm sure you guys talked about Mike Malone, so him hanging out there, I think is the logical, perfect fit for that job, probably with the personnel they already have in-house and changing the way they play a little bit. But I mean, it's a tough sell when you look at where they were for the last 20 years and he gets there and, it's improvement in the Eastern Conference Finals. And, I think a lot of people, Cottrell took. Did you take the Knicks too?
Yeah.
In the series, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think on paper, I think they were the better team. I think it was one of those situations where they just ran into a hot team. I mean, they're a step away from going to the NBA Finals, and you fire the guy. So it's definitely a bold move. It's if they get Mike Malone and we see them in the finals next year, then I guess it's the right move. But or whoever they hire. But I think it's. You got to look at you figure Boston's probably going to take a little bit of a step back next year. Indiana doesn't look like they're going anywhere now. Who knows what's going to happen with Cleveland? If Philadelphia gets their people back on the on the court, I think And again, I think Orlando takes another step next year. So I think East is going to be even tougher next year. So a coaching change is interesting to say the least.
I actually think me and Control both agreed, and I was hoping someone would disagree with it, that it was a great move for the Knicks to get rid of Thibodeau. I thought the biggest mismatch in the series versus the Pacers was Thibodeau and Carlisle. Carlisle outclassed them, and it was not very close. And I compared it to when the Warriors got rid of Mark Jackson and brought in Steve Kerr. No one thought it was not a popular belief, but they could see the shoreline from the ocean. And I think that what essentially happened with New York is they realized that Tom Thibodeau cannot coach them to the NBA Finals. I don't believe they can.
I think the one thing that probably hurt him, and I'm sure, I mean, we talked about it last year, I think his stubbornness or unwillingness to, go, 8, 9, 10 deep in a playoff is something that probably came up in those meetings. We talked about how, detrimental it was last year and how exhausted they were. And, I don't think it, again, to your point, Gene, I don't think it played a factor in this year's run. Because again, I think Indiana was they're just playing lights out. And again, Rick Carlisle's done a great job. But I mean, even the end of that game, like you took Jalen, when they took Jalen Brunson out, I mean, that man looked like he was exhausted to a different level. And I know it's playoff basketball and, you got to suck it up and, you want to play all the minutes and have your superstars on the court. But, I have to think that's probably one of the sticking points because it's been his MO everywhere he's been. He doesn't like to go past 7, really 8 players, and playing high intensity playoff basketball night after night after night, it wears you down quick. So, and he could be that. And we've seen that before. We've seen coaches that are historically good enough to get there and not good enough to win. And again, to Gene's point, we could sit here next year and be like, it was absolutely, depending on who they hire and say it was absolutely the right move. But I mean, it's definitely time will tell. I think he'll probably get a job pretty quick if he wants one because he's a good coach. I mean, he's definitely a better coach than, a big handful of everybody else in the NBA. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting all season for the Knicks fans. I'll say that.
Well, if they get Mike Malone, I promise they'll forget about Tom Thibodeau.
Real quick.
All right. Control also asked about the Madden cover, and do you believe in it? The curse and Saquon Barkley being on the cover.
I mean, I know there was that run where it was bona fide. What was it, like 5 or 6 in a row where like something
like
drastic.
15.
I don't think it was 15.
Especially the running backs, man.
No,
Yeah.
It's bad. Michael Vick he went to prison. Like
that was his own doing. I don't think he believed that on Madden.
Just saying.
I'm not over the moon thrilled about it. I mean, because that, I think as we all saw last year, he is an absolute, talk about getting a guy that gets you over the hump. He is an absolute difference maker, and that offense revolves around him, and he makes them go. So, I'm, cross my fingers and try not to believe in the voodoo, but, I think it's cool that an Eagle got it, but at the same time, I'd have been fine if they would have put, somebody else on there.
The only thing I can rest my laurels on is I think the Madden cover is going to Jerry and Jones. It's not really going to Saquon Barkley. It's to Jerry and Jones. So Jerry and Jones has got the Madden curse this year. I can't even see Saquon. I just see his back. Jerry and Jones is the guy he's jumping over, and that's who has the Madden cover this year. Remember Peyton Hillis got the Madden cover? I think he ran for 14 yards the rest of his career.
How could I forget?
Terrible.
He's a Brown.
But this is what I've been waiting for. We got everybody here. Can we do this $15? And I just want to be very clear. This is 100%. I have 100% the best line. Like, no doubt about it. No one gave it either. In the chat, no one gave it. And I want you guys to pick it apart. I really do. Can we do the lineup? Yes, there it is. So $15 to build your starting 5 in today's NBA. I see you all in the chat. If you see it, I need you to comment. Now, if you're listening on the podcasted version, $5 options are Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Edwards, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, and Tyrese Halliburton. The $4 options are Paolo Banchero, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Triple J, J-Dub, and Zion. $3 options give me Franz, LaMelo, Tyler Hero, Chet Holmgren, Darius Garland. Your $2 options, Amen Thompson, Alperen Sengun, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Green, Scotty Barnes. And your $1 options is your reigning defending Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Jordan Poole, and Jalen Duran. That is your $15 bill. Kittrell, I know you have yours listed. I would like you to lead off your $15.
All right. So for me, starting at my center, I have the unicorn, Victor Wembanyama.
Did anybody not take Wemby?
We all have Wemby. I have Wemby.
I have Wemby.
Victor Wembanyama has to be on my team here. At my 4, his counterpart. That was my $5. At my 4, though, his counterpart, I'm going with Chet Holmgren. Guy that moves defensively, that you have the length there. You know, you get the offense, you get the defense, he can space the floor. You got 2 7-3+ guys. I mean, it's gonna be tough out there for a lot of opposing teams there.
At the 4 for $3, so that's $8 total.
Yep. At my 4,
you got Wemby and Chet.
Yep. So moving on to my 3, going a little bit big here, but I got a guy who I think is low-key one of the most underrated players in the entire NBA, and that's Paolo Banchero. Paolo Banchero is an absolute bucket, and I think he's going to emerge here very soon as being a bona fide superstar. Now in my backcourt, you get a lot of value in the backcourt. So right now I'm at $12, so I got $3 left here, and my 2 guard, I'm going with. Well, actually, at my 2 guard, I'm going to roll with Dyson Daniels, guy who is defensively an absolute menace. This past year, I mean, he was averaging like 5+ steals a game. He can score. He's going to do all the little things right there and locks you up on the perimeter there. So just gives us even more defensive prowess. And then starting at my point guard position, a position that he doesn't naturally play, but he's just so good. I think with this team, he will fit perfectly in there. That's going to be Tyrese Maxey. I mean, I think of the entire list, Tyrese Maxey for $2 is the best bargain of anybody here. And, you know, Tyrese has obviously shown that he's going to do it with whether Embiid plays, doesn't play. He's going to give you 100%, 110% effort every single time he's on the court. And, you know, he's really just waiting to truly have his Robin, or, you know, in the Sixers case, his Superman just be out there on the court with him, so he can shine in those big time moments every single chance he gets. But I love Tyrese Maxey for $2. Okay.
Shally, that's a good $15. Let me be very clear when I say this. I like the way you spent $15. I think that might be the second or the third best lineup I've seen. Maybe second, probably second. Mine's first, maybe second. That's a very good $15. I like it a lot. It's better than anybody in the comments. Not maybe. John Suggs said Victor, Paolo, Chet, Maxey, Jalen Johnson. Okay, so his might be better. I like Jalen Johnson better than Dyson Daniels, but that's really close. I get it.
Have Jalen Johnson playing your 2? I don't know.
I get it. Well, maybe Maxey plays the. Yeah, you're right. You have nobody to bring the ball up. You're absolutely correct. You're correct. Your lineup is better. I apologize.
I thought me and Control were going to be in the same here for a second, but I'm gonna start at 5. I'm taking Wemby for all the reasons. I'm sure. Again, we're all on the same page here. Can't not have him on your team. Power forward, going the same route Cottrell is. Taking Paolo. Again, a guy that I don't think's even hit his ceiling yet. Continues to get better. Dominant force down low. He'll be my power forward.
Okay.
Small forward. I'm going down to Jalen Johnson. I think the numbers he's already put up. Again, I think he's going to continue to get better. Not going to be a huge guy that we rely on to score points on my team. Going to defend, rebound, chip in. Super great value at $1 there. So I got him at the small forward. My shooting guard, couldn't agree more with Cottrell. I think Maxey at $2 is a steal here. I'm going Maxey all day at my 2. That leaves me with $3 left. My point guard, go with LaMelo Ball. I think if you surround this team with LaMelo Ball, with the numbers he would put up with having that much talent around him, I think it would be otherworldly. So that is my starting 5.
That's a really good lineup too. I like the lineup. I don't like LaMelo, but he almost did it. He didn't do it. No, it's fine. Ant, Maxey, Paolo, Amen, and Sengun. Yeah, don't worry about the health. This is not a health thing, John. I'm going to give you the best lineup that could ever be made out of this parlay. All right. At my 5, I'm playing positionless basketball, by the way. At my 5, though, I still have Victor Wembanyama. He's going to roam the paint. He's going to be the guy for you. Now, I'm going to go down to the wings. I'm going to call them wings because I really don't have a power forward. I have 2 wings, and they're both 168, 167. I'm fine with both wings. Give me Amen Thompson, who showed you in this postseason that he could be an absolute star, a defensive stalwart. He can do everything for you. And my other wing is going to be Jalen Johnson. These guys are 6'7" and 6'8". Jalen Johnson was averaging 19 and 10 before he got hurt this year. He was ascending, and he was going to be 6th man of the year, and then he tore his labrum. So my 3 and 4 are Amen Thompson and Jalen Johnson. Now, you're missing a little bit of a height here. It's all right. I'm going to get smaller. At my 2 guard, give me Tyrese Maxey. Love me some Maxey. Fastest guy. He's going to bring the ball up and down the court. Can shoot. It's good. Great basketball player. Great value for $2. And for my other $5, because I have $5 more to spend, I am taking an ascending superstar in Cade Cunningham to run the point, but he's also going to be able to switch with guys like Jalen Johnson, Amen Thompson, and you're going to have 3 guys that are 6'7" and 6'8", 6'6" to 6'8", that can switch everywhere. Cade can shoot the 3. Cade can play defense. Jalen can not shoot the 3, but he can play defense and rebound the basketball. Amen plays great defense. We are going to be able to switch everywhere. Spacing is going to be good. The team is wild. So I got to recap: Cade at the 1, Maxey at the 2, Amen Thompson and Jalen Johnson at my 3/4, and Victor at my 5. It's the greatest. You can just admit it. Tell me how great it is. Guys, tell me how great the lineup is.
I'm not going to lie. I don't know if your 5 beats my 5.
My 5, let's put it in 2K. We'll put it in 2K.
Hey, that's fine with me.
Damn it.
Well, that's fine with me. I know who's going to take care of business in that simulation.
I would say this. I think to Gene's point with his team, defensively, he creates problems because he is going to have length everywhere. Other than Tyrese, but I mean, Tyrese is still a dog on defense as well. Again, having those 2 wings, though, I think other teams can match up with them defensively. You're young.
Get them on the boards.
Yeah, I think you could struggle to score at times.
I don't think we're going to struggle to score with Cade, Maxey.
I
got 3 guys that average 20 points a game, and one's not Victor.
Me too. I got Victor, Paulo, and Maxey.
I got Victor, Cade, Maxey, Jalen Johnson averaged 19, and Amen Thompson is an absolute stalwart. Amen Thompson is the best player on the Rockets. And I mean that over Sengun and over Jalen Green. Amen Thompson's their best player going forward.
I think he will be, yeah. Right now, I think it's Sengun, but I think going forward, yeah.
Going forward, we're ascending.
Oh, for sure. And the man is.
It's funny because I wanted to do Ant instead of Cade, but I did not want a backcourt of Maxey and Ant. I just didn't. I felt like it didn't transition well. Correct. Cade's my facilitator. Cade is my Magic Johnson that can shoot.
Yeah, we put Dyson on him. We're not worried about him. We're getting his pockets.
I don't know. Who's sticking Maxey, baby?
Maxey
sticking Maxey.
Maxey sticks in Maxey. Yep.
I like it. I think Jalen Johnson and Maxey are 2 of the best values. And then Amen Thompson, I'm just in love with that kid. Really am. I think he's a great ascending basketball player. And then you're going to give me the opportunity to get both ascending superstars in Cade and Victor. Whew, not even worried.
We got Chet down there. I don't know who's sticking Chet.
Jalen Johnson, baby.
Oh, barbecue chicken.
We got 19-10, baby. Jalen Johnson.
That's fine.
All right. I think it was fun. It's fun to do these things. I love doing these little debates. We have one more topic for Hotwire, correct?
Yeah, we got the women's softball college world series. They ultimately, I think game 1 is tonight. Oklahoma, 4-time defending champion Oklahoma, is not in the final.
Yeah, they lost
in walk-off fashion.
It was a great game.
Got down to their last strike, hit a 2-run home run, and then ultimately lost in the walk-off fashion. It was absolutely incredible there. But just wanted to bring it up. I know we didn't preview it beforehand. I don't know for sure, but I can almost say for sure that I feel like all of us would have probably still picked Oklahoma. It's been 4 years in a row here. Easy for you to say that now.
I had Texas. Sure. I had Texas Tech upsetting Oklahoma. I don't know what we just didn't have it on the show.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, you're looking at Oklahoma's won the last 4, and then I think like 6 of the last 9, something like that. They're still a dynasty. And I'll be honest, to your point, when they got down that last strike, and then she hit that home run, I'm like, they're going to find a way to win this game.
Yep.
It's just what they do. And Texas Tech got out of it and got the first 2 girls on base. Then I was like, they're in a lot of trouble here. Sack fly to walk it off. I don't think it's a bad thing. You're going to see a new champion one way or the other. Texas, I don't think Texas has ever won it either.
Champion. Yep,
yeah,
both of them.
So it will be. I mean, I guess at this point I got to root for Texas Tech. I'll go for the little guy. But definitely, not a powerhouse by any means in college softball. So it'll be an interesting series for sure. It's gonna be fun to watch, and like you said, it's gonna be a first time champ for some of these programs. So it just never disappoints, man. If you watch some of those games, it's been absolutely there's a reason the ratings are what they are year after year. Those whoever it is, the 8 teams that show up in Oklahoma every year, they never disappoint. The games are just incredible. I mean, Tennessee's been in a couple nail biters, one with Texas. I know Florida got walked off the other night to get eliminated. It's incredible softball to watch. It's so much fun.
Who was it? I think they were playing Florida. It might have been Tennessee. Did Tennessee play Florida in this tournament? There was a game where
first game.
I think Tennessee got up like 7-0 in the first inning, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is about to be an absolute bloodbath." Like Tennessee's about to, dominate the rest of the way. Like it just looks so effortless just watching it. But all the games have absolutely been incredible. But I think for me, like the craziest part of it all is this is Texas Tech's not only their first time like going to the championship, this is their first time ever making it in the playoffs, like making it to the college like World Series here, and they've gotten all the way here. Like that's absolutely crazy to me. So definitely rooting for them. Of course, either way it goes, I'll be happy to see first time champion there. But I will say on the flip side of that, I do always love seeing like history, like 4-time like back to back champion is absolutely crazy. So like a part of me was kind of rooting to see like how far can they actually make this thing go. But at the same time, like I can also get behind seeing a first time ever, champion in their program history there. So definitely will be a good one, especially cool because it's 2 teams from Texas.
That's not cool to me. I don't care about Texas, bro.
Well, I mean, not Texas itself, but I mean 2 schools in state.
I'm kidding, bro.
It will be nice to see a crowd that's kind of even out, though. I mean, because not that it's their fault that that's where they decided 60 years ago to hold the World Series every year. But it's bad enough when Oklahoma's got the best team and then you're playing in Oklahoma. It's pretty much a freaking home game. So it'll be exciting tonight. I think it'll be loud. It'll be a lot of fun. That pitcher Texas Tech has is a horse. I think she's.
Whoa! I don't think
345 pitches already or something. Just an absolute workhorse for that team. I'm assuming she's going to pitch tonight. So, And Texas can hit. And they're a little scrappy, so we'll see. We'll see how it matches up. It's gonna be really interesting. But I'm definitely going for David here. I'm going for Texas Tech.
I mean, in 65 games, Texas has one more win than Texas Tech. There's no David versus Goliath in this.
There is in the aspect to Cottrell's point. Texas has been to College World Series before. Like, they're a bigger program. They've been there. This is the first time Texas Tech has ever got out of the Super Regionals and actually got to Oklahoma. Like, this isn't like, oh, like UCLA who's there every year and they just haven't won it in a while. Like, they've never been there before. They are definitely the David here. Texas Tech is not a softball powerhouse program. Texas
the top of Texas's lineup, they got 4 people batting 400 or higher. I think Texas wins.
Taking it.
All right. Well, NBA Finals is upon us. We have the Oklahoma. You want to talk about David versus Goliath? This is the highest. I'm not kidding with you. This is the highest I've ever seen an odds for NBA Finals. Did you, Shally? I don't know if you've seen this. Do you know what the odds are for the NBA Finals? What do you think the odds are for Oklahoma City to win the NBA Finals?
I have not seen it, but now that you're reacting that way, I'll say like, I don't know, minus 750, something like that.
It's exactly minus 750. I've never seen that for an NBA Finals to be minus 750. It's like a Ronda Rousey fight mid-prime.
I think they said it's second highest odds all time. I don't remember what was first, but
I know. Maybe that should be the trivia question. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see. I think that these two teams match up against each other fairly nice. And I'll explain to you what I mean, right? So Indiana has a lengthy, weird, wiry guy that plays the 4 in Pascal Siakam. Oh, wait. Oklahoma City has a lengthy, weird, wiry guy that plays the 4 in Chet Holmgren. Okay, well, Oklahoma City has a big that's good at passing and it can shoot a little from the outside. That's a hustle guy in Isaiah Hartenstein. Indiana has a big, it's a little lengthy big. It can shoot. That's a little husky. That can rebound the basketball and in Miles Turner. All right, let's go to the wings. Well, we got length around. We got Dort. We got Case and Wallace. We got those guys coming up the court. Oh, we got Nembhard and Naismith. And then we have the superstar, the 6'6" guy that scores, that does it all for their team, in Tyrese Halliburton. And also Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP of the league. Oh, let's not get to the bench, because the bench, they have a 6th, they have a 7th, they have an 8th on both teams. I look at Indiana as OKC light. I think this is going to be a competitive gentleman's sweep. When the games are close, Oklahoma City wins in 5. There'll be a blowout in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City avalanches everyone. Oklahoma City might be the best defensive team we've seen in the last 25 years. And it really depends if Indiana can keep up the pace of play to play in transition versus if they get stuck in the half-court offense versus that defense with J-Dub. And look, the way it's broken down, Case and Wallace, Dort, SGA, Chet, Hartenstein, they play defense. Oklahoma City, and I didn't even mention Caruso. Kid comes off the bench, gets 4 or 5 steals in a game. I like Oklahoma City in this series, but I think Indiana has the roster that can make these fun, watchable games. We'll break it down by position. We'll break it down for the NBA Finals. But what's your first thought on the NBA Finals, Shal?
I mean, you know, I hate when I do this, but I mean, I honest to God agree with you across the board. I think they're going to be really good games. I mean, we talked about this last week. I think I'm still curious to see how many people are going to watch, but I think if you watch, I think you're going to see really good basketball. You brought up the big thing to me, which is Oklahoma City's defense. You know, the turnovers they create, they're right around 18 a game, which is, like you said, I think it's top 2 or 3 ever. And they don't turn the ball over. Their margin, I think, is the best ever. Their margin's plus 11.5 or 12 or somewhere around there. That's going to be hard for Indiana, because I think it's going to make Indiana kind of expand their offense and shoot a little bit more. than they want to, and they're going to have to make a lot of shots, I think, to stay in that game. OKC will be happy to run up and down the floor with them, which I think is a little bit different from New York, where New York kind of preferred to slower down game. OKC light is probably a good way to describe it. I just feel like Oklahoma City is probably a little bit better at everything. I wouldn't say 5. I think it's 6. I think Indiana's just so hot. They find a way to win it. They steal a game somewhere. But Oklahoma City just really, unless their complete form dips, they're just a better basketball team. They're we've praised Carlisle and Indiana and their depth, and they're going to go up against a team that's deeper than them, and that has their own good coach, and they can just run at you and keep coming. And like you said, there's no dip offensively or defensively, depending on who they have on the floor. Consistent high level play. That's really hard to beat over 7 games. It's an uphill battle for Indiana, and I'm not saying it's unclimbable. I'm not saying it's Mount Everest or anything like that, but it's substantial.
So for me,
Cottrell, I'm going to lead right into you. I'm going to lead this right into you. Oklahoma City through the regular season had the number 1 defense in advanced stats, 106.6 defensive rating. It was 3 points higher than number 2. Everybody else is within a point. It's so ridiculous. Like 109, 110, 110, 110. It's like all there, right? You would think that would be good enough to be, the best in the postseason. They got better. Their defensive rating in the postseason is a 104.7. That's 4 points higher than number 2, which was the Boston Celtics. How big is Oklahoma City's defense in this series to you?
I mean, I think it's going to be everything, especially given how we've seen the Pacers play. Throughout the course of the playoffs here, the Pacers have done a really good job of getting out in transition, whether it be off of turnovers or off of made baskets. They get up the floor. You saw in the Knicks series, there were so many runouts and easy layup opportunities that they had. But also just looking at, the way the Pacers like to shoot the 3 ball and how effective they've been shooting the 3 ball. I think it's going to be important for OKC to get their guys out there on the perimeter and challenge a lot of those shots. If you just let Nembhard or Naismith just get open 3-point opportunities, they will kill you. Just the way that they've been shooting so far in the playoffs. But as far as this series goes as a whole, I think that it's really had me go back and forth. Biggest reason being is that I've seen how dominant they looked against Minnesota. Like I did just watch that. But I also saw the Denver Nuggets take them to the brink, and I get it. That's a team that has championship pedigree, and they have, a player who many believe is the best player in the NBA in Jokic, but like they had an Aaron Gordon who had a awful injury that was gutting through it. Michael Porter Jr. couldn't throw a rock in the ocean if he was standing on the beach. You had Russell Westbrook turn the ball over, things like that. And these were guys who were playing heavy minutes for them, and they won 7 games. So like, I think a big part of it for me, and that I'm really looking forward to seeing, is Rick Carlisle's approach to stopping that Oklahoma City offense. Because if it were me, like I think the game plan is you make Jalen Williams as uncomfortable as possible. Obviously, Shai's going to get his. He's going to get to the rim. He's going to facilitate. Shai's going to do whatever he normally does, because that's just how good of a player he is. He's the MVP of the league right now for a reason. But J-Dub, you've seen in that series against Denver, and you even seen in a couple of games in the Minnesota series where, if you get him a little rattled, he gets off his game there and, just isn't really there. And I think that's going to be the key for the Pacers to ultimately stay in this series. You make him uncomfortable. You make him take tough shots. You make him give the ball up and kind of see if he gets disinterested on the offensive end. Now, of course, we know what they all do defensively. Gene just brought up all the stats there. They're going to be really tough to beat, and I think the Pacers are going to have to work for a lot of tough shots. But that flip side of it, I think if these games get into the 115s, the 120s every game, like that is how Indiana is going to have a chance to ultimately make this a series or even potentially win the series. And I think with two teams that play great defense to get out in transition and push the pace. I definitely think that's very possible. But ultimately, though, I do side with Gene here. I think this is going to be a very entertaining 5-game series. I just think Oklahoma City is just too talented. And ultimately, I like OKC to win both games at home off the bat. They go down Pacers go down 2-0. And I just think the Thunder find a way to steal one in Indiana. And I know once they get back home, they are not losing the game 5 in that building. OKC is going to be absolutely rocking. And we saw what they just did to the Timberwolves in game 5. And I think it's not going to be the same because Indiana is obviously going to fight a lot more in that one. But I just think it's going to be too much of an uphill battle for Indiana to climb.
I don't disagree with you. I'll add this. These guys just played. I can't say just played, but they played near the end of the regular season in Oklahoma City, and they played without Chet Holmgren. And Oklahoma City raced them 132-111. Now they did that to a lot of people this year, where they hit them with that avalanche, that second, third quarter avalanche. Game wasn't a game in the fourth quarter. And the difference in the game was Pascal Siakam was nowhere to be found. He was laced up. And then SGA got whatever he wanted. If I'm Rick Carlisle in this series, I am running Naismith and Nembhard at him all day and making him work. He is defending everybody. I know Shea can defend, but I am running every screen action at Shea. I am running it at him. I am making Shea defend me, and I'm constantly driving at him. I'm making him work on both sides of the court, and I'm making other guys beat me. If I'm going to hedge, I'm going to hedge on Shea. I'm making J-Dub hit those shots. I'm making Kaysen Wallace. I'm making every single other player on the Thunder beat me that's not named SGA. I am constantly beating him up with Nembhard and Naismith. When Nembhard needs a break, we're going to throw Naismith. When Naismith needs a break, we're going to throw Nembhard. And I'm doing everything I can to tire out SGA. It's my main focus. I'm Rick Carlisle. If you're tasked with we all have Oklahoma City win the series. So it's not fun. We're all picking the same team. If we're all tasked, though, to be the Indiana Pacers head coach, what's your game plan? How are you stopping this Oklahoma City Thunder team?
I kind of err on the side of Cottrell. I think, you're not obviously going to let SGA run around and score 40, 45, but I think you have to go into a game plan assuming he's going to score 25 to 30 every night. I am concentrating at that point from everywhere else, kind of like Cottrell, making life hell for everybody else. See if you can stay in the game. And on the other side of the floor, Halliburton has struggled with Dort. And that's who he's going to get. That's who he's going to get. I got to figure out a way, to get him away from him or switch off or make them switch. At least try to get Halliburton some good looks. His efficiency is in the toilet when he plays OKC and Dort covers him. So that's going to be a huge matchup to watch as well. Again, favors OKC. And I think if he plays defense against him like that, and Halliburton, we've seen it so many times. He's the spark for that team. If he can't get going, to your point, I think they can hang in these games. OKC does have kind of a propensity, a weird thing to start slow sometimes, but they really get into the game in the middle of the second quarter. And then, like you said, they come out after halftime with adjustments. And I've seen so many times, you look at a box score and it's like, bang, they put up 38, 42 in the third quarter. And they just bludgeon you in the third quarter. Indiana has to avoid that at all costs. And if, again, I think if they could stay in the game into the fourth quarter, then I think they could steal one or two. I think they have enough guys that can make shots, that can make plays and pull a game out. But if they're in that constant trail mode where they're down 10 to 12 and they're just going bucket for bucket back and forth, that just plays right into what OKC wants to do.
You have to figure out a way to steal one in Oklahoma City. You have to. You go all out, figure out anything. I don't know if you just get the 12th guy on the bench to walk up and sucker punch SGA. I'm kidding. But figure out a way to get a game.
I think this series gets interesting to me because we see how Oklahoma City defends out on the perimeter where they're always jumping lanes and things like that. So that's going to make life hell for your spot-up shooters. Like I talked about Naismith and Nembhard, you don't want to give them open looks. Well, Oklahoma City does a good job of not giving three-point shooters open looks. I think to me, that means that you have to take care of business in beating your matchup. And when I say that, I mean one-on-one. You don't want to just go ISO ball, that's how you get lost in the sauce there and ultimately find yourself out of a basketball game. But at times there will be certain possessions that ultimately you have to beat the guy who's in front of you. And so for me, I think as an ISO player, Benedict Mather is probably the second best ISO player on that Pacers roster. So I think he's going to be absolutely huge in this series because, of course, if you get Dort sticking, Halliburton, then ultimately, if Caruso is not in the game, Benedict Mathurin, if he's in the game, Benedict Mathurin is going to have to win his matchup with whoever is on him. And, obviously we talked about Siakam and how he struggled in the last game. I'd imagine Chet's going to be sticking Siakam there. And of course, Hartenstein is going to be there for the help. But ultimately, I think you got to find ways to win your one-on-one matchups. When Siakam's one-on-one with Chet and you don't have Hartenstein in the game, you got to find a way to win those matchups. So I think for me, that's what's going to be most important for Indiana, finding ways to win those matchups and really finding ways to steal points, whether it be in transition or just one-on-one, getting to the rim and taking care of business in your matchup.
Couldn't agree with you more. I think it's going to be a fun series. I really do. Very entertaining games. I just think that when it's all said and done, Oklahoma City just has too much. And that's the only thing I can say there. I just think they have too much. I think they're just too deep. They're just better, right? I mean, you go position for position, the best player, not position, but best player, second best player down the line. Oklahoma City's just better everywhere. Like Halliburton's great, SGA's better. And as much as I like Siakam, and I do, and he was an absolute mismatch, he's not a mismatch for Chet because Chet has that length. And Siakam's not going to post him low.
Right.
He's going to try to bump off him, and Chet's got the size to go. By the way, before we get off this, because we're about to get to trivia, did you guys see the moment with Tyrese Halliburton thinking he was going to win Eastern Conference Finals MVP?
I did.
That was one of the funniest things I've seen. John, did you see this?
I did. I saw it the next day on Twitter.
My man got crazy.
I mean, it's not the best look, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know if you can. I mean, I think in the moment,
one vote difference. It was 5-4 Siakam. Who would you have voted for?
Halliburton.
I vote for Halliburton too. I think he was more valuable. I think
Absolutely.
Siakam put up better stats. I think Halliburton was more valuable.
The couple dagger shots he hit. I mean, yeah, it's. I don't fault him for thinking he was going to win.
Hallie had the one bad game, and I get it. It happens, but when you are, I think he was second in points and then first in assists. He was first in rebounds as a point guard. He was first in like field goal percentage and, all these stats. And I'm like, you look at 32,
that 15 and 12 game with
no turnovers.
How the hell does that happen?
Exactly. So as far as impact goes, Siakam was important, keeping them in games, things like that. But Halliburton was the, catalyst to making that train go.
I'll say this. I think Siakam plays a little bit better than maybe Gene thinks he does. I'm not going to say I would say if you add up all the stats that he had, I'm not saying he ends up having a better stat line than Chet, but I think it's closer than people think. I think he's going to get Chet.
I think his stats will be very close.
He's a gamer.
He has to win. He has to win that. He can't be close to Chet. He has to win that matchup. There's not many places on the court where Indiana can win. The 4 is one of those places. And if he doesn't, the 4 and the 5 are where Indiana needs to win this series. Miles Turner and Siakam have to outplay Chet and Hartenstein. Has to happen.
I mean, Miles is definitely going to outscore Hartenstein. But I mean, Hartenstein's impact is on the other side of the floor. So it'll be, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with that point at all.
They have to win at the 4 and 5. It is 8:00. It is trivia time. And we are ready. Hold on. Let me do fair. Comments off. Comments are off. Is this like a 5-game winning streak for me? Am I on a 5-game winning streak?
I don't know how long
it's
it's been.
3.
It's definitely been a little something.
I'm like the Hammer, bro. I'm kidding.
All right, so got an easy one for you guys this week.
Every time we say that, it ends up being something wild.
We just missed like 2 of them forever. That's what it is.
But this week, with NBA about to be done, wanted to go to the hardwood, but we're gonna keep it playoff basketball. So this postseason, 2025 postseason, top 10 point scores throughout this postseason.
Up until right now.
Okay,
cool. First 2 are easy. Do you want to just eliminate those right away, Shell? I'll take Brunson 1.
All right, Brunson is number 1, 530 points so far this postseason.
Okay, I'll go Shea.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is number 2, 476 points.
Yeah, those 2 are easy.
All right. Now let's get going.
Okay, so got to go with people in the last series. So I'll go with give me Ant.
Anthony Edwards, number 4, 380 points.
Give me. I'll go Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton is number 10 with 301 points.
I knew that was going to be close. Let me think. It's not points per game, right? It's points.
No, total points.
Total points. Okay. So that's really a huge. I feel like he's up there. Fudge. I can't believe I'm like I just don't want to.
Plenty guys. There's plenty guys.
I get it. I'll go Donovan Mitchell, but I'm scared because he didn't play in the third series.
He's got to be way up there.
Donovan Mitchell is not in the top 10.
See, that's why. That's I was scared because of the amount of games he played.
I will go. I'll go with Tatum.
Jason Tatum is not in the top 10.
Give me Cat.
Karl Anthony Towns is number 3 with 386 points in this postseason.
Jesus.
Being up 3-2.
You said Edwards, right?
Yes.
I said it. Yeah.
You guys have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Any day now.
I'm right. Relax. Who's played a lot?
Give you 10 seconds here. Let's get this train moving. Plenty guys.
I go with Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown is not in the top 10.
I thought he was going to give me J-Dub.
Jalen Williams is number 7, 327 points.
Yeah, J-Dub. I thought when he said Jalen, I'm like, oh, I'm screwed.
Or 2.
Oh, yeah. Then I will go. I mean, he just won MVP. I mean, he had to have a decent series. I'll go with Pascal Siakam.
Pascal Siakam's number 6, 337 points.
I can't think of another player that's in the 2 finals teams. There might be one more, but I don't. Give me Jokic. Jokic had 2 40-point games. He's got to be up there.
Nikola Jokic is number 5 with 367 points.
He didn't even play in the third series, but 7 games helps.
We are missing number 8 and number 9.
Yeah, I only know number 8. I only know number 9. I only know one of them. There's no way I can get 2 more.
Who scores from Minnesota? I guess I'll go. Well, yeah, decent here. I'll go with the black hole. Julius Randle.
Julius Randle is number 8, 326 points.
Give me Mikal Bridges. I think that's the last one.
Mikal Bridges is not in the top 10. Bill, if you get this, then we'll tie the game up. And I've purposely not giving you guys numbers because I had a feeling we might come to this.
I think Gene Norman was on to something with Jokic. I just don't know which way I want to go. This Aaron played. I'm going to go with Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray is number 9, 305 points. So we are tied at 5-5. Don't know ultimately how we want to go here, but we'll go.
I think we did the same way we did last time. I think we both give an answer, and who's ever higher wins.
All right, that's good. That's
up to you. That's how we did it with Villanova, right?
That is how we did it.
Okay. So what's whoever higher?
Correct. Give me 2 names. Well,
wait, like do you have the continuation of the list? Is that what you're saying?
I do.
Oh, well then I'll just go back to what I just said. I think it's Mikal Bridges.
Okay. And Bill, what would your guess be for number 11 or highest possible guy?
I hate the fact that you're asking him because there's no that means I didn't have 11. That sucks. Me saying that makes me believe you wouldn't ask him. You're like, oh, you can't win. I have 11. So I don't have 11.
I mean, I would still want to guess from Bill.
I get it.
What number is his guy?
I'm not telling you until you guess.
Well, it doesn't matter now.
It does matter.
If it's not 11, it doesn't matter. I still got to even if he picked 12, I got to pick 11 or I lose.
But what if he picked 11 already and then you're like, I don't even know.
Then it doesn't matter. He's going to win anyway.
Exactly.
What's the difference?
That's the mystery.
It's so dumb. I think Gene picked 11. I'm between 2 guys. God damn it. He had a really good series. I just don't. We got an extra series over Donovan.
Oh,
I'm between Mitchell.
I completely forgot about that. I could have went back to Donovan Mitchell.
I'm between Mitchell. I'm between Mitchell and OG. That's who I'm between.
Oh God. Okay. OG.
He's got a bunch of 20-point games. Did they all add up after a while? He played longer than Mitchell did.
I just thought Mikal Bridges had more points per game than him, but could be wrong.
You're probably right. I'm probably way the hell off base here. I just nobody else scores for New York between those guys. And you already took Mikal.
That's fair.
So which way are you rolling?
I mean, logic says Donovan because I just know he had 2 40-point games, but OG played all those extra games. I'll go OG. Probably wrong.
Mikal Bridges had 280 points.
Okay.
OG
I hate what you're
Anunoby.
doing. I hate
OG Anunoby.
I think you won.
OG Anunoby had 294 points.
Oh,
OG Anunoby is number 11. Mikal Bridges number 12. And for what it's worth, Donovan Mitchell was number 13 with 266 points.
Congrats, Al.
Knocked the champ off the top of the hill finally. Do we have it? Where's the ticker, by the way?
Gene won 6 in a row and just
I won everybody else. I just stopped doing that. I'm ahead. I just don't know where it's at. We'll go back and do it one day. I don't really want to. We already had a lot of them. Oh, look, we're proud of you, Shally. All right, so let's move on. I'm such a sore loser. I don't even ever want to move on when I lose. I hate it.
It's like
His total mood just changed. I'm not looking up the ticker. I don't care.
In my mind, I would have. It's funny. I would have switched my answer from Mikel to Donovan Mitchell if I remembered it. I still would have been wrong, but you'd
have felt better. You'd have felt better.
Yeah,
I don't.
But the funny thing is, I didn't even have OG on my list. OG wasn't in my mind. And it's funny because the last game he had, he was the leading scorer for the Knicks. His last game 6, he was their leading scorer. I think he had 23 or 24 points.
Yeah.
I don't think of him as a scorer. Mikel had this huge games. I don't know. I guess I'm wrong. But the chat is proud of Shally. Anything else we want to talk about for the NBA Finals before we wrap it up?
I mean, I guess
they start tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night. My question for you guys would be: is there? I mean, we kind of saw it already, but we all think Oklahoma City wins. But regardless, is there any way the MVP doesn't go to SGA or Halliburton if either of these teams win? Is there anybody else that you give an opportunity to take home Finals MVP?
Actually, I don't think Halliburton. I think Halliburton would have to have such a special series because how bad he's played against Dort. I think if Indiana wins, it'll be a role player. I think it'll be like a Naismith having an absolute ridiculous series, or a Nemhard just shooting the lights out, shooting 50% from 3 for the whole series. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it will be anybody else on Oklahoma City other than SGA because their whole offense revolves around him. But for the Pacers, if you gave me the field or Halliburton, I would take the field.
Do you have the odds up? I'll look at it real quick.
I get that real quick. I got you.
Be curious to see.
Finals MVP odds. Here we go.
Because I'd imagine that.
I got it.
With
Shea is a minus 600.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Shea has
550. Halliburton's plus 700. Pascal's plus 2,000. Jalen Williams plus 2,500. Chet plus 7,500. And then after that, it just gets goofy.
Miles Turner is plus 20,000. I'll tell you right now. Plus 20,000. Miles Turner.
He's plus 36,000 on FanDuel.
No, I do need by the way, I do need a couple minutes with the therapy puppy. If you have a therapy puppy that you can bring over here,
he's got a therapy puppy.
I need it. Bro, I love fucking dogs, man. That came out the wrong way.
Whoa.
I love dogs. I love dogs.
Wow. Clip that.
Yeah, clip that. Chat, clip that.
Chat, clip that. Damn. I love fucking dogs.
Well, you said it. I can clip it right back to you.
Just repeating what you said.
I really wish I had a puppy though. I just can't. I'm not home enough.
Gene is just spiraling after losing trivia now.
I am. But I would. Do you have the odds even further? You said it gets goofy after that. I don't know, dude. Throw $5 on Nemhard and Naismith. They're probably
That's what I'm saying. If you think that Indiana's going to win the series, if you're a Pacers fan or there's just some reason why you think Pacers can beat them, they got Aaron Naismith as plus 50,000 to win Finals MVP.
So Miles,
crazy.
So Miles Turner's plus 36, and then the whole next group is plus 50,000. That's Nemhard, Hartenstein, Dort, Caruso, Naismith, and Case and Miles.
Why not throw $5 on Nemhard and Naismith?
Be a man. Throw 100 on somebody.
Oh my God.
Make a difference in your life if you win.
Yes.
I mean, there's just no.
I don't like lighting $100 on fire. I can light $5 on fire. I buy a coffee instead of use my Keurig sometimes. I can understand that.
That's fair.
But yeah, if you think the Pacers are going to win the series, there's a lot of money to potentially be made there. Because I actually agree with you in the sentiment of Dort slowing down Halliburton, but I also think that you might see games where Hallie has 15 points, 15 assists, things like that. Ultimately, if Dort's taking him out of the equation. So, but yeah, I do think it's gonna take some Herculean effort from somebody to ultimately have the Pacers truly have a chance and make this go, in my opinion, go anything past 5.
And I think they're going to push the ball out of Halliburton's hand like they did the last 2 times they played. So, like, if you look at the last 2 times they played, they've really got the ball out of Halliburton's hand. And if you're going to do that, like, all you have to do is look at the stats when they played in the regular season. And, like, I don't think it's going to change much.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Not that things are apples to apples, but you see the Celtics swept the Knicks in the regular season, and then playoff series happens and they get gentlemen swept. And I get it, it's different. Oklahoma City's a different animal. They've been the top of the top all season, but I mean,
Andrew Nembhard had 23 points in the one game and 16 in the other. He was the leading scorer in the one and second leading scorer in the other, and he led in assists. Andrew Nembhard might be worth throwing $5 on. Maybe
$100. $100. Make yourself 50 grand.
John, I seen this comment earlier. We had a whole conversation about this. I commented in the chat. If you want to rewatch the show, you can. But we held a whole conversation, 20 minutes. Love you, appreciate the comment, but we 20 minutes into it. So
yeah, he moved on. Gene's talking about how he likes to bang dogs now.
Jesus Christ. Are we gonna get to UFC, or is there anything else NBA we want to talk about?
I want to get back to the therapy dog. Who is a therapy dog?
I need one.
Well, you're not going anywhere near my dog if I ever get one.
That's fair.
Michael Gene Vick.
Jesus Christ. So I love dogs. Now you want me to electrocute them? What's the matter with you people?
Just saying. Just 2 people that you can't have near dogs. Gene and Michael Vick.
Well, what's worse, electrocuting them or banging them?
I'm not doing any of that. Neither.
Off the rails. Talk about Madden curse.
You're allowed.
That's how we got here. But no, I think that's it, NBA though. Just to get back on track there. I don't think there's really much left to be said there.
So, UFC, it's a fun card this weekend. It's 100% a fun card. It's in the Prudential Center. You want to go up there and watch it if you live local. It might be worth it.
Hop on the train.
Go up there and watch it. But when you look at this card as a whole, it's not bad. Obviously, Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland is going to be your fun old people fight. Like, their names and they're going to fight. That's fine. The Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pfeiffer fight is not terrible. I think Joe Pfeiffer beats him. I think Gastelum's kind of like on that downside. But the amount of trash talk, now granted, Kayla Harrison is the next big thing in the UFC, but the amount of trash talk between Kayla Harrison and Juliana Pena is worth the price of admission by itself. And then you get Merab versus Sugar Show. And we'll talk about that. Let's start with, all right, first of all, let's start with the 3, 4, 5. Charles, are there any fights on the card other than the 2 championship fights that you're looking forward to the most?
I mean, I think for me, it probably would be Vicente Luque and Kevin Holland. I don't know what it is about Kevin Holland specifically, but I feel like he's fought like 8 times this year already, and it's only June. Like I feel like I've seen him on so many fight cards. It's kind of strange, like that he's already ready to get back in there. But the other thing that's going to be interesting to see is that you got a new fighter on this card, and Patchy Mix.
Who is that?
At bantamweight. I think he's coming from PFL. But new fighter, that's really why I'm interested in seeing, because I don't really know too much about him. I just know he's new to the UFC. This is his first fight in the UFC. And going up against Mario Bautista in your first fight, like Mario Bautista is not obviously, Merab or Sugar Show level, but Mario Bautista is a solid bantamweight. So that's not just somebody you throw in there. So I'm very curious to see how that fight goes as well, just because I don't know much about Patchy.
He was the champion in Bellator. He beat Magomed Magomedov in Bellator. I just looked him up.
He's 20-1. Yeah. Extreme Couture fighter. Yeah. Pettis.
Bellator.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. First fight in the UFC. I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, you remember Magomed, right? Magomedov.
Magomed was borderline on his way to being in the championship mix, and then Dana got pissed at him and didn't re-sign him, and he left.
Yeah, that's who he beat over in Bellator. So twice, dubbed him, and then won a split decision over him.
Nice.
But I want to see some patchy mix too. Patchy action.
It's a great name.
Extreme Couture team, so it's a good team.
But yeah, I mean, I think 2 championship fights though are going to be, you talked about people going up to Prudential Center and watching. I think those 2 fights are 100% going to be worth the cost of admission.
Listen, I know that Kayla Harrison is the next big thing. I know the hype around Kayla Harrison, but have we not learned our lesson by putting minus 800s versus Juliana Pena? Can we stop doing that?
It's a big number.
It's a huge number. And all Juliana does is show up, fight her ass off, and put on a good fight. That's all she does. And she beat Amanda Nunes. And if she could beat Amanda Nunes and beat Raquel Pennington, who's another good fighter, and beat Sarah McMahon, who's another good fighter, I don't know. I'm not a huge Juliana fan. I'm not. But, she's a hell of a fighter.
She is. And I think the one thing that kind of gets lost in the shuffle here is that if you saw Kayla Harrison's last fight her last fight, leading up to this, she won the fight, no doubt about it. But at the same time, it wasn't this overwhelming Kayla Harrison performance from when she was at PFL. At PFL, she was dominating people. She was knocking people out. She was the next big thing, as Gene's been saying there. But I think in this fight, I would be very curious to see if Juliana Pena has success getting her to the ground, because I think that's where her money is going to be made at. I think if she wants to return her belt, you want to get her in situations where you're not standing in front of her and she's not teeing off on you, because that's where Kayla Harrison gets very dangerous. So it's minus 800 is crazy. I hadn't even looked at the odds yet, but for me, just kind of getting into my preview of this, I actually like Juliana Pena to win this fight. I think with it being a 5-round fight, I do think that is going to factor into this. And I also think Juliana Pena is a warrior. Like you said, she stood in there with Amanda Nunes, beat her the first time, and the second time she got beat up for 5 rounds and was still attacking and going at Amanda. So it takes a special kind of toughness to do that. And I think the conversations between these two have gotten pretty personal. And I do think Juliana Pena kind of has this chip on her shoulder, because essentially she kind of feels like Kayla Harrison was just given this opportunity, being this fresh face in the UFC, and Juliana had to literally walk through the GOAT to ultimately get to where she's at today. And obviously Amanda retired, and that opened up the opportunity for Juliana to get the belt there. But I do ultimately feel like, as far as a well-rounded fighter, if Juliana can get this fight to the ground, I think it can tire Kayla out, and you can see Juliana walk out and still via decision in a 5-round fight.
I think Kayla Harrison wins the fight, but there's no way in God's green earth I'm ever betting on her at those odds. I don't think it's that odds type of fight. I'll take Kayla Harrison 3rd round TKO. Parting. It kind of gets on top of her and smothers her.
I'll go the same, but I'll go 4th round. But again, I mean, Juliana Pena is, to Cottrell's point, and even Gene's, not an easy person to put away. Again, if you're talking about Nunes, who teed off for 5 straight rounds and couldn't finish her, Kayla is not going to walk in there and sure as hell not going to walk in and intimidate Juliana Pena or throw anything that's going to change everything she thinks about her, the way she does things. So I think the longer that fight goes, to Cottrell's point, I think it favors Pena. I really do. Because I think she'll have the belief in herself that she's been there before. She's been in the wars, and, she can keep on going forward. Maybe Kayla gets frustrated. Maybe Kayla does something stupid trying to finish the fight because, she thinks it should be over. But I still think Kayla wins. I think it's a good fight, though. And again, I minus 800 is to Gene's point, that's like walkover money. Almost all right, they're going to start the fight. This guy's going to knock this guy out in like 2 minutes and we're done. And I just don't see that in that fight. I mean, I think it's crazy. It's just I don't know how you don't throw money on Juliana Pena. I really don't.
I don't know if you throw money on her, but I would definitely not throw money on Kayla Harrison. For the main event, it's a rematch of a fight we watched already. Merab is fighting against Sugar Show Sean O'Malley. And the first time this fight happened, I think that Sean O'Malley was a slight favorite in the fight, or I think it was very close odds. This fight, however, what are the odds on it? Sorry, I'll get it up right now. It's Merab is a minus 280 favorite over Sean O'Malley, and that dictates what happened the first time they fought. The question that I'd ask you guys is, does Sean O'Malley have a path to victory that isn't catching Merab off target? Like, does he have a path to victory that's knocking him out? Like, Merab's never been knocked out, and he's been subbed before, but he's never been knocked out. Is that the only path to victory for Sean O'Malley?
I'm not going to say only because, again, it's a fight. Like, who the hell knows? But I don't think O'Malley subs him. But, again, I mean, with O'Malley striking, I mean, I think that is the most likely path to victory for him. Like to your point, he's never been stopped. But I'm going back and forth on this fight. But I think it's going to be another really good fight. I think it's going to be probably eerily similar to the first one. But it'll be it's kind of what you said, who's going to get off first, and can O'Malley land the golden punch that changes it or puts him on his back and lets him finish the fight. I mean, it's kind of where we're at.
I feel so weird about this fight. Like, even saying it out loud is going to sound weird, but like, I truly feel like Sean O'Malley has been locked in to fighting Merab, in the sense of, the one thing that you can't have happen with Merab is he is relentless. He is going to come at you for 25 minutes in this cage and try and get you to the ground. And I think with O'Malley, if he can just be consistent with his takedown defense and not get taken to the ground, I think there is a path for him to not only win this fight, but I think there's a path for him to win this fight and it go the distance. Like, I don't think it has to be a knockout for that to happen. I think if you find a way to get Merab just not necessarily uncomfortable, but you have the better significant strikes in the fight, and Merab is ultimately just coming at you with these takedown attempts, but nothing is really coming of them, and you're not actually getting O'Malley to the ground, I think judges will see that and they will score it in O'Malley's favor. So I think for me, the biggest key to this fight is making sure this fight doesn't get to the ground. Of course, with Merab and his cardio and what he does and his relentlessness, a few times it's going to happen. Like, that's going to be inevitable. At some point, O'Malley will find himself on the ground. I just think he needs to do a good job of, when he is on the ground, finding quick ways to get up and taking care of the striking while it's on the feet. I think he needs to put the pressure on Merab, like, not necessarily put the pressure on him, like, stepping to him all the time there, but I think he needs to fire and fire often to make sure that Merab is not just going and going and going like we see in every other Merab fight. So I actually like O'Malley in this fight, and I actually like him by decision. Like I said, sounds absolutely crazy to think a decision fight could be won by O'Malley here, especially coming from me, who I picked Merab in the first fight because of the pace. But I just think O'Malley has been absolutely locked in, and what kind of, like, exactly what you're getting. But I think it's different this time around because you've actually been in the cage with it. So I like O'Malley. I like him by decision.
Yeah, I like Merab. I think Merab ends up beating him 4-1 on the scorecards. I think O'Malley will be able to stay on his feet one round. It might be flashy. It might be the first. I think after that, after Merab finds a way to get him down on the ground, he just keeps going and going and going. His nickname's the Machine for a reason. The guy's got cardio for days, not days, months, weeks, years. I think Merab absolutely runs through Sean O'Malley. I think it's a very reckless scorecard. And I can almost see this fight ending in a stoppage on the ground because O'Malley can't get up. So give me Merab. I'll take Merab by decision in a 4-1.
I'll go Merab 4th round stoppage. Again, I think Shane is more than capable of finding that punch or that combo that can really turn the tides for him. But if he doesn't, I think it's more of the same what we saw in the first fight, to Gene's point. Merab's just going to be in his face, and he's not going to stop. And that is – it's really hard to get your timing. It's hard to get your spacing. He just smothers you and makes it hard for you to get your offense off. And the dude just doesn't get tired. He's like a little wind-up toy. So, I think we're seeing a little bit more of what we saw the first time around.
I don't even think Sean O'Malley was Merab's toughest fight.
No, for sure it wasn't.
Like I think his last fight versus Umar was much tougher, and that was a fight that he was not favored to win. This fight, I think that this is almost like an exhale fight.
I mean, I also think that Umar doesn't have the power that Sean does, and so I think that's what ultimately Sean needs to rely on, and he also has the height there as well, just being a bigger bantamweight there. But the one thing that I caution everybody out there, regardless of who you pick to win the fight, if you're thinking about putting money on this fight, the one thing that I would know going into it is that Merab has 2 hurt toes, and it's not just hurt like, they got stubbed or anything like that. Like, these were serious things that everyone in his camp were essentially talking about. He never ultimately decided that he was never in jeopardy of getting pulled from this card, but just something to keep in mind. He's got 2 toes that are 100% not healthy, that ultimately considering having surgery on because it had been that severe, like just going through training there. But Merab is an absolute warrior. He wasn't going to pull out of this fight. That's not his MO at all. But just something I would caution people about betting about, or just looking more into it before you make that decision to put some money on Merab.
I get it. That toughness is what ultimately leads me to believe that he wins the fight.
I get it, and Merab is a monster. I told you guys before he got the belt that I thought as soon as Aljo got rid of the belt, and because Merab wouldn't fight Aljo, as soon as that happened, Merab was going to get a hold of the division and just run it. But yeah, I don't know. Something about Sean, like him coming out saying like he's not dyeing his hair. Like, I haven't heard theatrics from him. Like, you haven't heard any crazy press conferences from Sean. Like, this feels a lot more like a business fight. And I love that approach.
I hope it's a business fight. I also hope that he has his confidence back, but he hasn't fought since the Merab fight, and Merab has fought Umar. So it's been a year for Sean. So we'll see how it plays out. Be interesting fight. It'll be a card I'm definitely tuned into Saturday night.
Oh, for sure.
Another WWE, UFC, TKO back-to-back event. It's the second time they've done this. I love it. They're doing back-to-back Money in the Bank right to UFC. I love that. I think that's whole night fighting, whether it's fun or not. By the way, just while we're on that topic, though,
I was just about to. I was like, we got time. Like, I'm curious to hear what you're going to say, because I had a question too.
Give me your men's and women's Money in the Bank winner.
Oof.
I'll give you mine. I'll start you. I think first of all, I think that the WWE has done a poor job in the qualifiers and getting the right people in the match. I think there's only 2 people that can win the men's. I think there's only 2 people that can win the women's. I think it's a showcase fight for the women. I'll start there. I don't think they're going to give the Money in the Bank to Lyra Valkyrian. Stephanie Bakar. I don't think they're going to give it to any of the new fighters. I think it'll either be Naomi, which I think will ultimately win, and then the person I want to win is Alexa Bliss. So I think one of those 2 win the Money in the Bank for the women. I think that Naomi ultimately fights Bianca for the title after Naomi cashes in Money in the Bank. I think that'll be the interesting, and I think you end up getting Jade Cargill versus Bianca next year's WrestleMania after Jade wins the Rumble. Like, that's kind of like the way I see it playing out for the women. So do you guys want to give me a different thought for the women?
I think it's the same. I think it's the same 2 most likely winners for the women. I would like to see Alexa win it. She's, hugely over since she came back. The problem with her is everybody knows where she's going to end up. So I don't know if they ultimately have her dethrone Tiffy time and then go somehow work their way back to Naomi and Sasha and all them, like Gene said. But that's the way I see that playing out. I would say Naomi is probably the most likely winner because it just makes sense to where they want to build going forward through the summer. Alexa's going to end up with the Y at 6. Everybody knows that. I would like to see her win. She's won it before. She's great, but I guess my only concern here would be Triple H pulling the big time swerve with one of his NXT, call-ups. So,
well, if it's one of the three, Stephanie Becerra, Julia, or Roxanne Perez, they've been teasing Roxanne Perez, and I think they've done a very poor job with her this year. I think she was she was just runner-up in the Royal Rumble. Now she's, part of this Judgment Day drama. I don't think it'll be Roxanne. Julia, I don't think it'll be her either. I think if you're going to do it give to anybody, it'll be Stephanie Becerra, but it's never good when the Money in the Bank is with a face. It should always be with a heel. The heel thing to do, to cash in and like that's just a heel thing to do.
Unless you're using that to turn somebody heel. And
so here's the thing. You could technically hold it for a year, and that is where it gets interesting because Gene's point, I think we all know where we end up if everybody stays healthy, probably through Mania. But, with her just being called up, they could be like, hey, this is going to be a 4-month down the road thing before we use it. So there's a lot to be told there. So it could be interesting. I do agree with you. Out of the three of them, if it's going to be one, I think it's going to be her. I still hope Alexa wins, but I think most likely it's probably Naomi, which is going to suck, but whatever.
I don't think it sucks. I think it's great for the storytelling. You almost want to give it to a heel, and the Naomi Bianca obsession that keeps being played out is perfect because Bianca's eventually going to want something Naomi has, and then you're going to see that whole thing come full circle. I think if Naomi wins, she cashes in, she takes the title, and then Bianca ends up fighting Naomi. Jade wins the Royal Rumble, and then you have Bianca Jade for the title and next year's Mania. It's a perfect setup.
I get it in setup,
which is exactly why I think Naomi wins. That's quite literally how I see it happening. I mean, it feels like they are. I mean, obviously, it's a good feud. So I mean, I definitely think you just get the play of it's like Naomi going to cash in here, or it could be something that happens at down the line, like Survivor Series, where they kind of tease it, and they're just going to keep teasing it up until we get to the point where we get close to next year, and get closer to Mania and things like that. So that's ultimately why I see Naomi being the one to win it, because I feel like storyline wise, like I don't know who else would really fit in the story moving forward here.
That's the problem with it right now. I don't disagree with either one of you about talking about building it and keeping it that long, but that is literally a storyline right now that's not like the underlying of it is about them all beefing, but none of them have the belt. So it's like you put a lot in motion to pay that off for Naomi. Like Alexa's already feuding with Tiffy. She's already feuding with Charlotte. There's ways to pay that off right away if they want to do it that way. I don't think they're going to, but if you're putting it on Naomi, that's fine. But you are then that is months and months down the road before anything happens with that. Because Tiffy's got to lose to somebody. So until she loses to either Sasha or Naomi, none of that gets put into motion.
Jade when you say Sasha?
Or not Sasha. What's her face?
Jade Cargill?
Or Bianca? Bianca.
Oh.
That's so none of that's in motion right now. None of them have a belt. So it's again, you're playing the long game there, which is fine. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with it at all.
Well, she can cap in on Tiffany.
I guess, but that becomes interesting. She's got to cash in on either Bianca or Jade. That's how that works. To your point, that's where you get the big payoff for that because of what you already have built in place. I think if she cashes in on Tiff, I think it's stupid.
She tries to cash it on one of them, and you get the Jade coming out. You get the Bianca coming out.
I'm so listen. You're not gonna find a bigger Jade Cargill supporter than me. I'm so tired of her music coming out, her not talking, and her just kicking Naomi. It's literally the same thing for like 3 months. It's the same thing. It's Naomi's out there, and all you hear is and she comes out and just kicks her. And like there's no she needs a mouthpiece really bad. Really bad. She's awful on the microphone.
She's just not ready.
All right, so men's Money in the Bank. We got to move forward. Men's Money in the Bank. And once again, this is only 2 people that can win this Money in the Bank. That's it. 2 people. That's it.
For me, I see it. I feel like I see it clear.
It's one person. I agree. It's 85% one person, 15% another. And the only way I could see Seth Rollins not winning Money in the Bank, because Seth's going to win it. Seth's going to win. He's going to cash in on Jey Uso. I get it. The only person I can see winning it.
Yeah.
What?
I said I don't know about that part, but yeah.
You don't think he's going to cash in on Jey Uso?
That's exactly what they're doing because it protects Jey. It's exactly what they're going to do. That's why it's not. It's to Gene's point. The build is soft and stupid.
I think you could do better long-term storytelling if it goes the other way. Like you figure out what happens with Cena. If Punk takes it off Cena or whatever the case may be, then you have Heyman owes, Heyman's, with Seth and all this stuff like that's going on there. Like I feel like you can also go the other way and have.
There's no way Cody Rhodes doesn't take that belt off of John Cena at the end of the year. That was 100% a rental belt for the WWE
for sure.
To give John Cena, and Cody Rhodes will take it off him, and probably will happen at Survivor Series.
I'd rather see Punk take it off of him.
Okay, that could happen at SummerSlam, but
it'll be interesting the way they do it.
It's Seth Rollins, and there's 15% chance that it's Solo Sikoa. Nobody else.
Yep. I 100% agree with that. You bring back now that portion of it, you find a way to bring back some version of the bloodline.
By the way, he's incredible. By the way, by himself, he's gotten so much better. Like now, like he's not like the fake tribal chief. That he's just funny. He's like making jokes to Jacob Fatu.
Did you see? I
mean, like
did you see Rikishi talking about him?
No.
I think he was talking about Solo, but he was basically saying like the booking for him has been so weird. Like he wishes that like WWE would do a better job of booking him.
Of course he does. It's a kid.
Just in general. So I was like, that's kind of interesting to see, given that he's really on the verge of potentially holding the belt. So
I get it, but at the same time, man, I mean, like, who's the last person that came in and like been on the ride that Solo's been on?
Fact.
Like, I mean, the dude who literally started and was thrust into debatably the best storyline ever, played a huge factor in it numerous times,
and nothing
then became the guy. No, you're gonna get back there.
He opened up Netflix. He opened up Netflix. Like, what else did you want?
Yeah. Like, I mean, the dude's had a nuclear push since he got there, and I love Solo. But you're going to get back there. You're going to get back there because eventually you're going to get Bloodline versus Seth, the original Bloodline versus Seth and all them. It'll happen.
All right. Let's get into
Seth is going to be the winner.
Seth's going to win. He gets hand fed everything. He's going to win.
Hand fed everything. Are you out of your mind?
Listen, I like Seth, but it's just, bro. It's
you saying it's recycled? Are you calling it a recycled storyline here?
It's not recycled. It's just the fact that like it's part of the reason why like as soon as somebody gets hurt, they get stuck. Because and this was the same thing with like the exhaustion with Roman. It's always like the same 5 guys. So it's like if you never take anybody out, and again, you don't have to like bury Seth Rollins. That's not what I'm saying. But if you take him out of the actual title picture for a while and let him go do other things, there's a million storylines you can write for Seth Rollins. The guy can wrestle anybody. He'll make anybody on the planet look good. He's one of the best freaking workers in the business. And he's great on the mic. He doesn't have to be in the title picture every single minute of every single day. And that's why people get exhausted from him.
I completely disagree with you.
All right,
he's the guy that shows up every single week. The problem is the other guys that they put the belt on, like when you look at Cena's part-time champion right now. You look at Jey Uso, he's defending it every single, like as much as he possibly can.
All right, but seed is a special thing. Like you can't even use that. Like the
Roman was a part-time champion.
Because Roman was such an attraction. That was different. If Roman was wrestling every single week, it wouldn't have been what it was.
The allure wouldn't have been there.
Cody and Seth are the two guys that show up every week. They're in every storyline.
Okay, that's fine. But Cody's a perfect example. Cody was stale as shit at the end. Everybody wanted Cody to lose. The match wasn't great. The way they did it wasn't great, but people wanted Cody to lose. It got stale. Seth is better because he's not a babyface. So he can keep reinventing himself and doing all that. When you were the carbon cut copy baby face that just gets shoved down your throat, that's why everybody wants to see Cody lose. Like they got to do something different with Cody, and I think they're going to. I love Cody. He's a workhorse. I'm not saying anything about it, but you still can't have storylines or characters get stale just because the guy's on TV every week. That can't be the reason. And Roman Reigns is the perfect example. When you finally. When he wasn't shoved down our throat as a babyface, and they just let him be what he was going to be, and you turn into the bloodline thing, and he was only on once every month, what did everybody do? As soon as it was announced that he was going to be on that SmackDown, that week's ratings were through the roof because it was an attraction. That's what they need to do more. And again, Seth is more than capable of being that person, or just not being in the actual title spotlight. Like I'm saying with this whole new thing with Paul and Breaker and all them, like, bro. There's a million things they could do with that. All I'm saying is he doesn't have to be in the title picture every single second of every single day. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he shouldn't be on TV or anything like that. The dude's a superstar. That's not what I'm saying.
I think he's the best in the business.
I wouldn't argue that. I wouldn't argue that at all. I'm just, dude, like he could put on a 4-star match with me and you in the ring right now.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
My point
he's so good, man. He
agreed.
He put Bronson Reed over. That was incredible what he did with that. He had the Shinsuke Nakamura feud, which I thought was awesome. Like these are all non-title feuds.
And that's my point. And to your point, it was still awesome. That's my only point. Like you have these guys that rode the wave, like Solo or LA or whoever. And I agree with you. The 6 people that are in this match suck. Like the way they did it, it's terrible. Like, but it'll be a good match because there's gonna be a lot of cool spots in it. But
I think Punk interferes. And I think that's when you'll see Breaker and Bronson Reed, and
that's why I hold out hope maybe that Solo wins because maybe Roman shows up, but we'll see.
That's actually a real possibility. All right, let's get into Belmont Stakes. Shally, give us your preview.
Belmont Stakes, the final leg of the Triple Crown this Saturday at Saratoga Springs. It's not at Belmont Park because it's still under renovation. They'll be back there next year. So. This is usually the longest race of the 3. It's usually 1.5 miles. It's gonna be like the Derby. It's gonna be 1.25 miles. It's not gonna be the traditional, horses taking forever to get down the stretch because you feel like they're running forever. You have Journalism back after winning the Preakness, and the Kentucky Derby winner Sovereignty will be back. So we kind of get the rubber match here between the 3 of them. Sovereignty won the Kentucky Derby, went home, took a month off, chilled, maybe got a little fat. Don't know. We'll see. And then you had Journalism with one of probably a top 5 stretch run ever in a Triple Crown race, getting blocked in, bursting through a hole, looking like Saquon Barkley, and then ran down 9 lengths in 300 yards to win to catch the other horse, which is just insane. I think it comes down to those 2 again. Journalism has been my guy from the get-go, and I'm sticking with him. I think he's in the 7th post, I believe, 7 or 8. I think there's only 8 or 9 horses. I think they're going to keep him outside and just sit there until he has to go. I don't think he gets caught inside again like he did at the Derby. I think I said it before the Derby. I think he's the fastest horse in the race. And if he doesn't get blocked or anything crazy like that, I think he just outruns everybody else. So I'm going with Journalism to win the Belmont.
Yeah, I hate to just steal your thunder here, but I'm also rolling with Journalism. After what I saw in the previous race there, I mean, ultimately, I'm rolling with Journalism. I wish this would have been for the opportunity for a Triple Crown. Kind of disappointed in Sovereignty not running at the Preakness, but I get it. You know, you do what's best for the horse and all that stuff. But I think journalism takes it and you know, ultimately finishes with 2 out of the 3 legs there.
I'm never going with a 2-1 favorite or less. Ever. It's just not who I am. Give me whoever Jonathan Velasquez is running. It's Crudo at 15-1. Give me Crudo at 15-1. Jonathan Velasquez, going to ride that horse at a 15-1. He's going to find a way to win. Let these other 2 idiots battle with each other, and then Crudo comes in for the end. 15-1 horse. Give me the 15-1 horse.
I think, you know, listen, I'll say this, with it being a shorter race, I think it allows other horses to stay in it, or maybe even hit the board like a Crudo. If it was the traditional 1.5 miles, I really think it would have just been a 2-horse race. I think they would have came down the stretch. Both those horses are closers. I think they would have ran away from everybody. But I still think we get a good race on Saturday. We'll see what the weather's going to do. It's a lot of thunderstorms in the area, so it's a chance it's a sloppy track again. So I think that favors journalism even more if he can stay outside. So it should be fun. I'm going with my guy.
All right, let's get into You Gotta Be Kidding Me.
All right, so this week I got a little video to go with it.
Video.
Let's go here. Let's share the screen. This week got Mr. George Springer. Let's take a look and see what he did in this one.
Looking at, and again, the right foot, and I see space.
Hey, he's off the bag.
And it's that top foot, or it's the toes of the right foot that we're not going to be able to see here.
Oh, no, see it.
Oh, yeah, that's a done deal. He's out.
All right, so I mean, you guys get the gist of it there, but George Springer ultimately got to third base, got there in plenty of time, and for whatever reason, in parentheses here, I do want to be known, he did ultimately have an injury on this play here. But with that said, for whatever reason, gets to the base, jumping up and down, and the A's third baseman, honestly, heads up play, catches him at the perfect moment, and ultimately gets the out there. The A's challenged the play, and they went back and reviewed it and ultimately called him out there. So I get it, injuries happen and things like that, but to me, that felt more like a mental lapse there. And for that, this week, George Springer jumping up and down on third and ultimately getting called out.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Good one. I like it.
I've had it happen to me once, and I've done it to somebody once in my baseball career. It happens more than you think, believe it or not. Just usually not on camera. I'm going to stay in baseball, though. I'm going to go with umpiring.
Audience going to love that you're using this.
9 different examples, so I'm not going to go through them all. But it breaks my heart to say that I, as a traditionalist that I am, I cannot wait next year for the robo-umps to be put in, and it's going to happen. I really thought with their backs against the wall this year, they were going to be better, knowing that it was hanging over their head. And it's debatably been way worse than it even was last year, when it's the worst it's ever been. Missing calls. There was a game decided this week. I want to say it was Pittsburgh. The guy threw a pitch a foot out of the strike zone, and the guy got rung up and then started, yelling at the players. The umpires are antagonizing players this year. It's got to change. It's got to change quick. I wish they could implement it, in the middle of the year, but they're not going to. But I don't see any way in hell that the robo umps don't get approved for next year in the Major League Baseball. And then it's going to get real interesting. It's got to change. It's got to change behind home plate. It's awful. There's just no excuse for it anymore. Missing 1 or 2 a game by a couple inches is fine. You got guys that are missing calls by 6-8 inches, and it's not. When you got somebody like Paul Skeens throwing 98 miles an hour and he misses by 8 inches, you can't give him that 8 inches. You can't. He becomes unhittable then. So just overall, again, it's my first umpire reign of the year. There will be more, I promise. But just umpiring across the board this week was atrocious. So MLB for me.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
It's funny you say that because the one specific one that I thought you were gonna go over is there was the Rays in the Rays game. I forgot what batter it was, but got ejected.
Here's the problem. Yeah, that guy obviously played in the minor leagues with it, where if you want to challenge it, you tap on your helmet twice. You can't do it in the major leagues because it's technically considered like showing out the umpire, like drawing a line, like where the ball is. It's one of those unwritten rules you can't do. The kid did it just out of habit, and like there was no
intent at all. You can say he didn't even look at him while he was doing it.
No, correct. And he was literally getting back in the box to get ready for the pitch before he got to the point in the pitch clock where he has to be ready. And then again, the umpire could let it go. Like, nope, call timeout, the whole point thing, throw him out. Like it's enough, man. It's enough. It's got to stop.
Well, I have a video for you guys also.
Well, Jesus Christ.
And my video is something that you two have already seen, but I just want to continue to laugh at my pain. So, this is a playoff game. I'm on second base. You guys see my screen?
Yep.
I'm on second base, and I do something with 2 strikes all the time. And if you're an umpire in Softball America, just turn this off. Do not listen to this portion of the show. But if there's 2 strikes and a batter starts to swing, like I could see he's about to swing, like he turns his hip, cocks, I'm off. I'm gone. I do not wait till the ball's hit. I do not, if he swings and misses, I will be 6 to 7 feet off the bag. Well, it got me in this scenario. This is a playoff game. We're up 17-10. Bases are loaded with 2 outs. Just setting the stage. Now, I want you to pay attention. This ball's smoked, by the way. You can hear Adrian in the background. One more time. Now, I just close the window. That's my fault. I'm way off the bag there. You can see how far I am off the bag there. But I got smoked. There's nothing I can do. When I'm at that point, there was nothing I could do. My second foot landed, and I had nowhere to go. I was full speed that way, and the ball was coming. There was no way to stop. I have a shiner on my thigh. It's a penalty for me jumping off the bag early. So for this week, Gene Walzak.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Gene, my biggest question mark for you there is, what do you guys have a camera in your team hat? What is going on there?
So the pitcher was wearing a GoPro cam. It's Brian Dart. He had a pitch because our team, Billy Brancato watched the show, was pitching, walked a few guys. We're hitting them up. We were up 17-10. Bases were loaded. There was 2 outs, and they swapped pitchers. And, my guy Alex is up. I'm on second base. I mean, I'm on base every time in the playoffs. But I'm on base, and, that was the last run we scored. We lost the game 21-17.
Wow. Just killed the momentum.
Momentum killer. It was me. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. All right, I'm done.
I mean, the guy from Tuesday night that just started walking off the base.
Oh my God. He's took a full lead. He had a full lead.
He was getting a jump.
And the best part of the Tuesday video is Bo's screaming at the umpire, but not knowing what he's saying. Words. But that's our.
Have you?
What?
Have you seen the? Hold on. I'll send it to you. Dart sent me. He sent me a GIF of Bose at third after something happened, just screaming and kicking dirt. It is the funniest thing in the world.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious. Those videos are great for that. Just things that you're not intending for it to be. But that's okay. Any final comments, gentlemen?
I got nothing.
I got nothing either. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week's Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL Genius, Gene Walzak. In the upper left corner, we have Kent State's own, Cleveland's own College Control, Uncle Shally, Scholastic Shally, Mr. William Shawcross, and we are signing out.